You close your eyes, you stay in bed all night, but when the morning comes, you feel just as drained as when you went to bed. And it's not your imagination. There's a reason your energy keeps slipping away no matter how many hours you sleep. The truth is, 8 hours alone isn't enough. Because if your sleep is shallow, your body never recharges the way it's supposed to. But by the end of this, you'll know exactly why this happens and how to fix it fast. And it all starts with the biggest myth about sleep you've believed your whole life, the sleep myth, why 8 hours isn't enough. You grew up hearing the same advice again and again: get 8 hours of sleep and you'll feel fine. Your parents said it, your teachers repeated it, even doctors reinforced it. 8 hours became the golden rule, the magic number that promised energy, focus, and productivity. So you try to follow it. You discipline yourself to get into bed earlier. You stay there for the full 8 hours. You wake up expecting to feel refreshed, but instead you open your eyes and feel the same heavy fog weighing you down. Your body is slow, your mind is still tired, and the first thought that crosses your mind is, what's wrong with me? I did everything right. That's the frustration, because the world convinced you that 8 hours was the key. And yet here you are, dragging yourself through the morning as if you barely slept at all. The truth is, you've been sold a myth, and believing it has been costing you your energy every single day. The real secret is this: not all sleep is created equal. Sleep isn't just one long stretch of unconsciousness. It's a cycle, a rhythm, a pattern your body must complete to restore itself. You drift into light sleep. Then, if your body allows it, you descend into deep sleep, the stage where your cells repair, your muscles recover, your immune system strengthens. And then you enter REM sleep, where your brain processes emotions, builds memory, and sharpens creativity. These stages are not optional. They're essential. But here's where things get tricky. You can stay in bed for 8 full hours and never complete enough deep or REM cycles. You can technically sleep all night and still miss the very stages that restore your energy. And when that happens, you wake up groggy, sluggish, unfocused, exactly the way you've been feeling. Think of it this way. Imagine leaving your phone on the charger overnight. In the morning, you pick it up expecting 100%, but instead, it's still at 20% because the cable was loose. That's what's happening to you. You're giving yourself the time to rest, but the connection, the quality of that sleep is broken. This is why people who sleep 8 hours can still feel worse than someone who slept 6, because it's not the hours that matter, it's the depth, it's the rhythm, it's whether your body was actually given permission to recharge. And here's the dangerous part: most people never realize this. They think the solution is to keep adding more hours. They try 9, even 10. They think maybe they're just the kind of person who needs more sleep. But no matter how long they stay in bed, the problem doesn't go away, because it was never about the number of hours. It was about the quality of those hours. That's the first reason you keep waking up tired. You've been chasing a number instead of chasing real restoration. You believe the myth that 8 hours equals energy, when in reality, 8 shallow hours leave you just as drained as 4. And even if you manage to hit the right cycles, even if you manage to get some deep and REM sleep, there are still invisible enemies that can steal your rest before you even notice. Hidden sleep disruptors you don't notice. You tell yourself you slept fine. You didn't hear any loud noises. You don't remember tossing and turning. You went to bed at a decent time, stayed in bed until the alarm, and yet you woke up exhausted. And that's where most people get stuck, because they assume that if they don't remember being disturbed, then their sleep must have been good. But that's not how it works. The truth is, your sleep can be broken without you ever noticing it. There are disruptors so subtle that you stay completely unaware of them, but your body feels the damage in the morning. And these hidden enemies are some of the most common reasons you wake up tired even after 8 hours. One of the biggest culprits is light, specifically blue light. Every time you scroll on your phone before bed, every time you watch a late night show with your laptop on your chest, you're flooding your brain with signals that it's still daytime. Your body is waiting for darkness to release melatonin, the hormone that makes you drowsy and pulls you into deep sleep. But when blue light hijacks that signal, melatonin release is delayed. So yes, you eventually fall asleep, but your body enters the night with scrambled instructions. Instead of sliding into restorative deep sleep, you drift in the shallow stages for far too long. By the time your body finally starts to repair itself, your alarm is already going off. Then there's caffeine. You think it's out of your system by bedtime, but caffeine lingers for hours, sometimes up to 10. That harmless afternoon coffee, that soda with dinner, or that piece of chocolate late at night can quietly block the very receptors in your brain that tell you it's time to rest. You might still fall asleep, but the depth is stolen. You wake up not realizing that your brain never fully shut down the way it was supposed to. Alcohol is another thief, one that disguises itself as a helper. You've probably noticed how a glass of wine makes you drowsy, how a drink helps you knock out. But alcohol doesn't help you sleep, it sedates you. And sedation is not the same as real sleep. Under the influence, your body skips or shortens critical REM cycles. That's why after a night of drinking, even if you stayed in bed for 10 hours, you wake up with heavy fatigue, brain fog, and no real clarity. But it's not just what you drink. It's also the environment you sleep in. If your bedroom is too hot, your body struggles to regulate temperature. Instead of sliding smoothly through cycles, you hover in lighter stages, waking up drenched in sweat or restless without knowing why. Noise can do the same thing. Even sounds you don't consciously hear, the hum of electronics, traffic outside, your neighbor's footsteps can jolt your brain just enough to keep you out of deep sleep. And then there's your schedule. You might be getting 8 hours, but if those hours are inconsistent, your body pays the price. Sleeping midnight to 8 one night, then 10 to 6 the next, confuses your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that anchors your cycles. Without rhythm, your body doesn't know when to fully release repair hormones, when to dive into deep sleep, or when to wake up with energy. So even if the math adds up, the result still feels wrong. These hidden disruptors are why so many people wake up groggy despite giving themselves enough time in bed. They sabotage your deep sleep quietly, invisibly, and in the morning, all you feel is the aftermath, the fog, the fatigue, the frustration. It's like plugging in your phone overnight, seeing it charging, but discovering in the morning that the cable wasn't fully connected. 8 hours went by, but the battery barely moved. That's your body every time these disruptors sneak into your night. And here's the scary part. Most people never fix this because they don't even know it's happening. They think they're sleeping fine, but their habits and environment are silently stealing the quality of their rest. But even if you remove every one of these disruptors, even if your habits are flawless, there's another layer you can't ignore. Sometimes the problem isn't outside. Sometimes the exhaustion comes from within your own body, when your body works against you. Sometimes it doesn't matter how carefully you set up your night. You dim the lights, you cut the caffeine, you make your room cool and quiet, you give yourself the full 8 hours, and still you wake up tired. That's when the frustration deepens. Because if you're doing everything right, then why do you feel so wrong? The answer is simple but uncomfortable. Sometimes the problem isn't outside. Sometimes it's inside your body. There are hidden conditions, silent deficiencies, and subtle imbalances that sabotage your sleep from the inside out. And unless you uncover them, no bedtime routine in the world will save you. Take sleep apnea, for example. You may not even know you have it. It's not just loud snoring, though that can be a clue. Sleep apnea is when your airway briefly collapses during the night. For a few seconds, you stop breathing, your brain panics and wakes you up just enough to start again. And this can happen dozens, even hundreds of times a night. You don't remember it in the morning, but your body does. Instead of cycling smoothly into deep restorative sleep, you keep getting yanked back to the surface. It's like trying to dive into a pool, but someone keeps pulling you back up for air before you ever reach the bottom. No wonder you feel exhausted. Then there's your thyroid, a tiny gland in your neck with massive influence over your energy. When it's underactive, your metabolism slows. Your body struggles to generate energy, even during rest. You can sleep all you want, but you wake up dragging, your muscles heavy, your brain sluggish. To you, it feels like laziness or burnout. But at the cellular level, your body simply isn't running at full power. Deficiencies are another silent thief. Low iron, for instance, starves your cells of oxygen, and without oxygen, sleep can't fully restore you. Low magnesium leaves your muscles tense, your nervous system overstimulated, making it harder to relax into the deeper stages. A lack of vitamin D throws your circadian rhythm off balance, confusing the very system that tells your body when to rest and when to wake. Each of these gaps may sound small, but together, they turn your 8 hours into a shallow imitation of real recovery. And let's not forget blood sugar. If your glucose spikes and crashes overnight, your body is thrown into chaos. A big meal too late, or the wrong kinds of food, can push your blood sugar high, and when it plummets, your body jolts awake, sometimes without you even noticing. It releases stress hormones like cortisol to stabilize you, but in doing so, it rips you out of restorative sleep. By morning, you don't remember the disturbance, but you feel the fatigue. This is what makes it so tricky. You think your nights are normal, you think your body is fine, but deep down, something isn't working the way it should. And until you uncover it, the cycle continues. You wake up groggy, you drag through the day, you blame yourself for not being disciplined enough. But it's not discipline that's missing. It's alignment. Your body isn't aligned with the restoration process that sleep is supposed to deliver. And here's the most dangerous part. Millions of people are walking around in this state without ever knowing it. They don't realize their thyroid is sluggish. They don't realize they're deficient in critical nutrients. They don't realize their breathing is interrupted every few minutes at night. They just accept tiredness as normal. But exhaustion is not normal. It's a signal, a red flag. And if you ignore it, you'll keep paying the price with your energy, your focus, and even your long-term health. So yes, habits matter, environment matters. But sometimes the enemy is within. Sometimes your own biology is working against you. And even if your body is healthy, even if you're not dealing with apnea or deficiencies, there's still one more invisible thief that drains more energy than almost anything else. It doesn't come from your habits, and it doesn't come from your biology. It comes from your mind. The enemy of rest, stress, and mental overload. You've done everything right. You gave yourself the hours. You set up the perfect environment. Your body is healthy, at least as far as you know. But when your head hits the pillow, your mind refuses to shut off. You replay conversations from the day. You stress about the future. You plan, you worry, you overthink. And even though your eyes are closed, your brain is wide awake. This is one of the biggest reasons people wake up exhausted after a full night's sleep. Stress is the silent enemy of rest. When you go to bed carrying the weight of the day, your body may be lying down, but your nervous system is still standing guard. It's on alert, pumping cortisol, the stress hormone, into your bloodstream. And cortisol is like poison to deep sleep. It keeps your body in survival mode when it should be in repair mode. Think about the last time you had an important meeting the next day, or a tough conversation weighing on you. You might have slept for 7, 8, even 9 hours, but you woke up feeling like you never truly rested. That's because your body wasn't just sleeping, it was fighting to calm the nervous system, fighting to process the endless flood of thoughts, fighting to get you to the deeper stages of sleep. The problem is your brain doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined pressure. To your nervous system, stressing about bills or replaying an argument feels the same as being chased by a predator. And if your brain thinks you're being hunted, it's not going to let you fall into deep, vulnerable sleep. Instead, it keeps you hovering at the surface, waking you up with every noise, pulling you out of every cycle, and robbing you of the restoration you need. This is why mental overload is so damaging, because you can't measure it the way you measure hours. You can't look at a clock and see that your sleep was broken by stress, but your body knows. You wake up groggy, unfocused, maybe even anxious. You reach for coffee, hoping it'll pull you out of the fog, but deep down, the problem isn't lack of time in bed. The problem is lack of peace. And here's where the frustration gets worse, because stress doesn't just steal one night. It compounds. A few restless nights turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. And over time, you start believing this is just who you are now, someone who's always tired, someone who never feels fully restored. But that's not the truth. It's not who you are, it's the state your body has been trapped in. The good news, you can break out of it. You can calm your nervous system before bed. You can give your mind the signal that it's safe to let go. Because when you do, your body finally unlocks the deeper stages of sleep you've been missing. And that's when you start to wake up feeling alive again. So yes, stress may be the invisible thief of your rest, but it doesn't have to keep winning. There are ways to reset your nights, calm your system, and reclaim your energy. And that brings us to the turning point, the part you've been waiting for. Because now that you understand the myths, the disruptors, the body's hidden traps, and the weight of stress, it's time to talk about the fix. The fix, rebuilding sleep quality fast. You've learned the truth by now. 8 hours doesn't guarantee rest. Myths, disruptors, hidden health issues, and stress can all rob your energy even when you're technically sleeping enough. But here's the part that matters most. You can fix it. And you can fix it faster than you think. The mistake most people make is believing the answer is more hours. They start going to bed earlier, sleeping longer, napping through the day. But that never works, because more of the wrong kind of sleep only multiplies your frustration. The key isn't quantity, it's quality. And if you want to feel fully restored, you need to rebuild the depth and rhythm of your sleep, not just the length. So how do you do it? It starts with one word: consistency. Your body runs on a rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock called your circadian rhythm. When you sleep at random hours, midnight, one night, 10 p.m., the next you confuse that clock. And a confused body doesn't repair itself. But when you go to bed and wake up at the same time every single day, even on weekends, your body begins to lock into the rhythm it's designed for. Hormones release on schedule, cycles run smoothly, And suddenly 8 hours starts to feel like 8 hours again. Then comes what you put in your body. If you drink coffee at 4 p.m., you may not feel it, but it's still there, blocking your brain from winding down hours later. The fix is simple. Cut caffeine at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. The same goes for alcohol. It might help you fall asleep faster, but it destroys REM cycles. If you want to wake up sharp, skip the nightcap. Next is your environment. Your bedroom should beg for rest. Dark, cool, and quiet. Darkness tells your brain it's time to release melatonin. A cooler temperature helps your body drop into deep sleep. Silence prevents micro-awakenings you don't even remember in the morning but that leave you drained. Remove the clutter, block out the noise, invest in blackout curtains, or a sleep mask if you have to, because your environment shapes your depth. But the fix doesn't stop at the night. What you do before you sleep determines how you sleep. You need a pre-sleep ritual, something that tells your body and mind it's time to let go. That could be journaling to empty the thoughts in your head, stretching to release tension in your muscles, reading a book to shift your focus away from screens and stress. What matters most is that you repeat it nightly, because when you pair consistency with ritual, you train your nervous system to switch off at the right time. And don't forget the morning. The way you start your day sets the tone for how you'll sleep at night. Expose yourself to natural sunlight within the first hour of waking. That light resets your circadian rhythm, telling your body exactly when the clock starts. It sharpens your mornings and primes your nights. Without it, your body drifts, guessing at the timing, and your cycles fall out of sync. Now imagine putting all of this together. Consistency. No caffeine late in the day, no alcohol sabotaging your REM, a dark, cool, quiet room, a pre-sleep ritual that signals your brain to let go, and morning light that locks your rhythm in place. That's how you rebuild your sleep fast. That's how 8 hours stops being wasted time and starts becoming real restoration. And here's the beauty of it. You don't need expensive gadgets, endless supplements, or complicated hacks. You just need discipline. Protect the basics, and your body will do the rest, because your body already knows how to restore itself. It just needs you to stop sabotaging the process. Do this for 1 week, just 1 week, and watch how fast the fog lifts. Watch how quickly you begin to wake up clear, alert, and ready to live again. But what if you don't just want to fix sleep? What if you want to go beyond fixing to wake up not just not tired, but truly energized, sharp, and unstoppable? Energy optimization, how to wake up truly rested. Fixing your sleep is the first step. It gets you back to baseline. You start waking up without that heavy fog, without dragging yourself through the morning. But why stop at just okay? Why settle for not tired when you could wake up buzzing with energy, clear in your thinking, and sharp in your focus? Because real transformation doesn't come from fixing what's broken. It comes from optimizing what works. The truth is, most people have never actually felt what it's like to wake up fully restored. They've been tired for so long that they assume grogginess is normal. But once you optimize your sleep, you realize that tired mornings were never meant to be your reality. You were designed to wake up ready to attack the day. So how do you go from average rest to elite energy? It starts with measurement, because you can't improve what you don't track. Devices like the Oura Ring, the Whoop Band, or even basic sleep apps can show you how much deep sleep and REM you're actually getting. They reveal the patterns you can't feel, the micro-awakenings you don't remember, and when you see the numbers, you know where to adjust. It's like finally getting a map after being lost in the dark. Next, use the power of strategic napping. Most people think naps are for the lazy, but the truth is, the right nap at the right time is rocket fuel for your brain. A 20-minute nap can sharpen alertness without making you groggy. A full 90-minute nap lets you complete an entire sleep cycle, boosting creativity and problem solving. The trick is to nap intentionally, not randomly. Done right, naps don't steal from your night, they add to your energy. Then there is nutrition. If your body doesn't have the raw materials, it can't build quality sleep. Magnesium glycinate calms your nervous system and helps you drop into deeper stages. Omega-3 seconds reduce inflammation, keeping your brain sharp. Vitamin D resets your circadian rhythm and supports healthy hormone production. These aren't exotic supplements, they're fuel your body is starving for if you've been running on empty. And don't underestimate the power of your breath. Before bed, 5 minutes of slow, deep breathing lowers cortisol, telling your body it's safe to relax. Meditation does the same, even gratitude journaling. Writing down 3 things you're thankful for shifts your brain out of survival mode. When your last thoughts of the day are calm instead of chaotic, your nervous system unlocks the deep sleep you've been chasing. Now imagine this, you wake up at the same time every day, your body perfectly synced to its rhythm. You've tracked your cycles and know exactly what works for you. You fuel your body with the right nutrients, you use naps as precision tools, and you end your nights with calm instead of chaos. The result? You don't just wake up rested, you wake up alive, clear, energized, focused. You start your mornings ready to move instead of waiting for the fog to fade. This is the level most people never reach. They stay stuck chasing more sleep when the real breakthrough comes from optimizing the quality of rest and the energy that follows. Because sleep is not the end goal, energy is. And that's the truth most people never hear, that the 8 hours was never really about sleep in the first place. It's not about sleep, it's about energy you've been chasing hours. 8 hours, sometimes 9, maybe even more. You've told yourself that if you could just get enough time in bed, the exhaustion would finally disappear. But here's the truth you've been missing. It was never about sleep. It was always about energy. Think about it. What do you actually want when you say you need more sleep? You don't care about the number on the clock. You care about how you feel when you open your eyes. You care about the clarity in your head, the strength in your body, the spark that carries you through the day. That's energy. That's what you're really chasing. The problem is, most people confuse sleep with restoration. They count hours instead of counting cycles. They obsess over the number 8, but never ask if those hours are actually giving them back what they've lost. That's why someone can sleep 6 deep, quality hours and wake up ready to conquer the day, while another person spends 9 shallow hours in bed and wakes up feeling like a zombie. The difference isn't time. The difference is energy. And this is the shift you have to make. Stop worshiping the clock. Start focusing on the outcome. Are you waking up sharp? Are you able to focus without drowning in caffeine? Do you move through the day with momentum instead of dragging yourself along? That's the measurement that matters. Because at the end of the day, sleep is just the tool. Energy is the result. Energy is clarity. Energy is focus. Energy is freedom. With energy, you create, you solve, you build. Without it, you survive but never thrive. And every time you wake up tired, every time you roll out of bed groggy and disconnected, you're giving away the most valuable force you have. That's why the fixes you've learned matter so much. Not because they give you better sleep as some abstract goal, but because they give you back your energy, they give you back your mornings, they give you back the version of yourself that you've been missing. So when you think about sleep from now on, don't ask, did I get enough hours? Ask, did I wake up with energy? Because that question cuts straight to the truth. And the truth is, you don't need more sleep. You need more sleep that actually works. You need rest that restores you, nights that fuel you, mornings that make you unstoppable. And once you shift your focus from time to energy, everything changes.